fundamental level. This is why. All right, guys, so today we're going to go back to our more in-depth analysis of the plate hitting philosophy. Again, we posted that video up on YouTube. You can find it. Recently, we did the location in-depth video. So today we're going to be talking about action, and that's action of the pitch. And essentially what I want to kind of go in depth on is with a certain pitcher that has a certain arsenal, what's the pitcher's objective versus the hitter's objective? And so, when we're talking about this, we have to understand, okay, what kind of pitcher is this guy? Is he in let's go, for example, we're going to go over kind of a sinker slider guy. Okay, so sinker slider guy, typically they're going to have two pitches, right? They're going to have sinker slider. You may see kind of a changeup in there, but generally what these guys are going to try to do is throw the same location and have them crisscross, right? We're going to go sinker like this, slider like this. We're going to tunnel it in the same area, and we're going to hope the guy's going to have trouble picking it up. Okay, very, very critical. You're looking for spin. You're seeing that two-seam spin versus that slider spin. Again, the slider usually is going to have that dot. Two seams usually going to have, it's going to be a looser spin, so you're going to be able to pick that up more so than like a four seam and stuff like that. But, okay, what's the pitcher's objective when facing, let's say, a left-handed hitter? And we got let's say a right-handed sinker slider guy against a left-handed hitter. So, again, I do left-handed hitter because I was a left-handed hitter. It's just easier for me to visualize it. But just think about this on the other side, and we'll do a right-handed hitter as well. So from the pitcher's objective, I'm trying to stay away from this guy because as a sinker guy, if I start it here, it's going to run back over the middle of the plate. Think about like this, guys. With every pitch, with the type of action it has, where is he going to locate it that it goes back over the plate? That's where I'm looking. Wherever it's going to start and end up closer to home, to the middle of the plate, that's where I'm looking. So if I'm a pitcher and I'm throwing this sinker, I'm trying to start everything outer third, really like middle away. I don't want to start at middle because it may still catch a decent amount of the plate, but I'm trying to start it middle away and have it run to the corner on the sinker. Okay, so sinker from the pitcher's objective, I'm trying to start. I'm gonna start away from it. Obviously, I don't want to be up in the zone, but the priority objective is I want to stay away from him because this ball, if I miss in and it runs over the middle of the plate, it's going to run right back into a left-hand hitter's barrel. So now with the slider, there's two objectives. Two objectives with the slider. I'm trying to start out here and backdoor with the slider. Backdoor him, started off the plate. Again, if you miss and you start this where the sinker wants to start, it'll be over the plate. So we don't want to do that. And the other objective is this. We want to start this like in and down and have it kind of back foot the guy for strike three. So this is what your sinker slider guy, you're going to see where he's trying to go. This is where he's going to try to attack you. So as a hitter, you're facing the sinker slider guy. No, this is what his objective is. Your objective is to be looking for that sinker. Again, blue is going to be what the hitter's objective is. You're looking for that sinker to start somewhere like up and in like that. Come back over the middle of the plate. That's the sinker. Now, for a slider, again, very similar. Because remember, we did sinker and slider, they're going to throw those. Their goal is to get these things to mix up, right? But if he starts that slider up here on the opposite side and it breaks down back up to the middle, that's what we're looking for. So depending on the pitch you're hunting, you either want the slider for a left-handed hitter, you want that slider to start up and away, or you want that sinker to start up and in, because they're both going to just tunnel right back into the middle of the plate. They're going to break into the middle of the plate in the heart of the zone, and you're going to be able to do damage on those. So, take a screenshot of this, guys. Understand, obviously, we could talk for an hour just about this matchup, and maybe in the comments, if that's something you're interested in, we can go maybe do a live stream, and we go way in depth on each of these matchups. But this is kind of how we're going to do it now. So next, we're going to do a, let's say we're going to do a right-handed, because again, I mean, righty, lefty, we'll do a lefty-lefty matchup too. But this is going to be a right-handed ride and curveball guy. So that one of those 12-6 guys. Okay. And we're going to, let's get rid of these again. And so, guys, now we're facing a four-seam guy. He's got the ride. And again, we went over this in the location video. But a guy with ride, he's going to try to stay in the top of the zone, right? He's going to try to go four-seam top of the zone, breaking ball, start that off on the tunnel. So a pitcher's objective is he's really trying to stay anywhere above this red line with his four-seam. Anywhere above, I mean, that's like, again, we're talking best case scenario. Obviously, he's trying to stay above the middle part of the zone, belt tying up. But he wants it, if he can stay in that upper, quadrant, he's going to have a lot of success. And again, as a hitter, you're looking really for anything kind of right here. Not exactly the middle of the zone, but you're looking for anything like right here and down. Because this is, again, so if as a hitter, what we're trying to do is we're trying to lay off that four seam at the top of the zone. So how is he going to get you to bite on that? How does a good, four seam guy that's got a big breaking ball, which is, that what you're going to find out is, especially as you go higher up the ladder, your high level college baseball, your professional baseball, pitchers are going to fall into these kind of archetypes where, because the kid's got a great four seam now, the organization is going to teach him to throw a big breaker, to throw off of that. Same thing with the guy's got a really good sinker. We got to teach him a slider, stuff like that. So you're going to find more and more of these guys that fit into these archetypes. So if we're laying off this four seam as a hitter, we're trying not to swing at it. Again, I know it's hard, but really, I mean, you have to lower your eyes and just be telling yourself, lay off the top. I'm looking low. I'm looking down. I'm looking down. Again, proactive thinking. The only way he's going to make this pitch something that's very hard for you to lay off of is he's gonna start a breaking ball either here, and he's gonna get these to fall. And again, this is a big curveball. He's gonna get these to fall to the bottom of the zone. The reason he's gonna do that is because all of a sudden, let's say first pitch, he goes fastball top of the zone. You lay off it, and it's kind of that borderline. It's a ball, 1-0. Next pitch comes right off that same tunnel, and it's a breaking ball that falls in for strike one. Now, you as the hitter, you just saw a pitch start at the top of the zone, looked, and you really weren't sure what it was, ended up being a breaking ball, picked up spin late, fell in, you froze, strike one. So you're in a 1-1 count. Now, because you're in a one-strike count, like Joey Votto, like I talked about in the last video, he would always kind of open up what he's looking for depending on how many strikes he had on him. No strikes, very selective. One strike, he's opened up that zone of attack he's looking for. And then obviously 2 strikes, he's got to cover. But now that you have 1 strike on you, now okay, well, if I take another strike, I'm going to get to 2 strikes. And now I got to battle. So I'm not in a position to drive the baseball. So now he can throw that 4-seam top of the zone. And it's going to be a lot harder to lay off because that pitch, there's a pitch that starts up there that was a strike. If this guy can land the breaking ball consistently, going to be really tough matchup for us as hitters. So again, this is really the key for hitters. You've got to stay below this line because if you go above this line, it's going to it looks like such a good pitch to hit, but you're going to just be underneath that. You're going to be underneath that all the time. And this is a type of pitcher where your swing thought has to be swing down. Because if you try to get underneath this guy, I mean it's game over. You're running right into what he's trying to do. So again, with a guy like this, you got to be really careful and remember, stay away from the top of the zone. So our last matchup we're going to cover, guys, and again, this is general. We could get way more in depth on this and kind of, again, the amount of at-bats I had against guys like this is in the thousands at the AAA level. in Double A level. So I've got a lot of experience against guys that were really good, that knew how to pitch like this. Now, the last guy we're gonna talk about is your bullpen arm that's like a slider specialist. This works for either lefty or righty, so we're just going to go with slider specialist. Now, this is a guy who he's going to throw probably 75, 80% sliders, maybe even higher than that. It's a real weapon, and he knows, and a lot of times with guys like this, their fastball is kind of just, doesn't mean they don't have a high velo fastball, but especially at the professional level, 95, 96 to a hitter in Double A, Triple A in the big leagues is, you see that every day, is what I'm trying to say. So it's not like, oh, he's throwing 96. It's like, oh, he's got 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Okay. Like, it's not a big deal. And I want to try to get that across to you guys, because when you see that in the pro level, that's just something that you're used to. By the time you get Double A, Triple A, that's an arm you face every day. And so this guy's going to throw 85% sliders because his fastball, it may be 95, 96, but there's probably not that, like, he doesn't have that really good sink on it, or he doesn't have that great ride on it. So just analytics-wise, it's kind of a mediocre 95, 96. And so how do you face these guys? Well, number one, you got to recognize this guy throws 80% sliders. So what pitch should you be looking for? Slider. Okay, well, that's a little bit more into the approach side, but let's look at what kind of actions we can have. Obviously, if he's a right-handed slider guy, and I'm just going to I'll do red for right-handed and blue for left-handed. Because it's not going to matter as much about what the hitter's looking for. This is more about, okay, what kind of action are we facing here? Now, if this is a sidearm guy, obviously he's going to be living out here. So he's going to start sliders out here, just have him break over the plate right here. Sidearm slider guy. Over the top slider guy, he is going to live starting it right here, right in the heart of the plate, and he's going to have it just break to the bottom of the zone, maybe even farther out. So you have to understand, all right, is this a sidearm guy? Is this an over-the-top guy? An over-the-top guy, I got to be thinking get under it. Like, this is one of those times you're thinking, I got to get underneath and stay inside. You can't get around a slider. You're around a slider, you're out. You got to stay underneath and inside the slider, especially if he's an over-top guy. And if he's now let's talk about if you're a right-handed hitter. This is if you're a left-handed hitter. Or actually, I should switch these out. But left-handed hitter. And then blue is right-handed hitter. Now, left-handed hitter, he does not want to start the reason he's going to start outside the plate is because he doesn't want to start something on the corner, because that's going to come right back in the middle of the plate. Remember, guys, if this is the most important thing you can remember. When you're game planning a pitcher, you have to understand what the action of his pitches does. Okay, and then your game of attack is, where does he start that pitch that it ends up going towards the heart of the plate or landing around the heart of the zone? That is where you're hunting the pitch, not where it's going to end up. Because if you're hunting where it's going to end up, and it starts over here, but it's going to run back into the plate, you're going to freeze on this pitch. You can't just be looking middle if the guy's got a really good sinker. You have to, okay, where is that sinker got to start to end up in the middle? That's where you're hunting it. I promise you, if you change that way of thinking, that'll up your game in the box dramatically just right away, especially when you're facing high-quality arms. So, again, he's never going to start this slider unless it's a mistake on the outer third. He will occasionally, a sidearm guy, start this kind of inner third and hope to get like a back foot chase type of pitch. But generally, they're just going to, a sidearm righty is generally going to stay just away from a lefty at all times. Because especially if he's sidearm slider guy and he has like a two-seam fastball, if he misses in, that thing's getting hit a long way, because, again, it's going to run back over the middle of the plate. So over the top slider, we have to look for everything up here. We're looking for anything that starts in the top of the zone. Anything in this area. Because that's over the top slider is going to come right back to the middle of the plate. Now, up here we probably don't want to, because it's going to end up inside. But here is fine. It's going to end up a little bit more towards the middle. But that's your slider guys against left-handed hitters. Now for righties, it's a little bit different. So your sidearm against a righty, so your right-handed hitter over here, he's going to start more here. Now, the sidearm slider against a right-handed hitter is going to start in the middle too. Kind of like the over top to the lefty. And he's going to hope this thing breaks to the outside corner. He's going to get you to swing through it. He's going to get you to get around it and ground out the shortstop. But that's where a sidearm slider is going to start a right-handed hitter versus a lefty. Notice how it's the same plane, right? A sidearm slider, they don't really care about, again, do they want to miss up? No. But it's more about, all right, how far off the plate or how far, breaking it to the corner or breaking it to the inside corner or outside corner. That's really what they're focused on. So your right-handed hitter is going to see a lot of sidearm sliders that start towards the middle of the plate and break towards the outside corner. Now versus an over-the-top guy, it's going to be virtually the same. I mean, he's going to be starting it middle like this, or here, or here. Just think about it like this. The over-the-top guy, he does not worry as much about it being a lefty or a righty because he's got more downer action. So that's going to be effective in the same location against both type of swings. If it's got mostly downer action, no matter if it's a right-handed hitter or a left-handed hitter, his objective is going to be basically the same. Because it's got so much vertical movement, it's going to be really hard to get on plane. The sidearm slider, what the advantage he has is he can run that thing off your barrel if you're a right-handed hitter. And if you're a left-handed hitter, he can run it, backdoor it to the corner to where you can't reach it if you're a left-handed hitter. So the sidearm slider guy is going to be a lot more worried about where he's locating as far as east and west. Your over-the-top slider guy, he's not very concerned east or west. He's just concerned about height in the zone. If he starts that thing top of the zone, he's in trouble. So he's going to be burying that with 2 strikes. He's going to be starting it right on fastball plane down the middle before 2 strikes. So I know we've gone over about 3 different situations and different archetypes of pitchers, guys. If you do have a specific situation, archetype of a pitcher that you want analyzed, again, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this, anything you want covered. Appreciate all the support you guys are giving us on our social media. And stay tuned for the next video. Again, if you're looking for help in the recruiting process, these are things we talk about with our clients. Guys if they're struggling hitting, we'll talk, hey, what are you looking for? What's going on? What type of pitcher are you struggling against? And same on the pitcher's mound. If you're looking for help in the recruiting process and just want to understand what we do, go to our website, fill out an eval request on the front page, elitesportsadvising.com. We'll have one of our regional advisors reach out to you, meet with you, and just discuss kind of how our process works for all of our clients, where we think, based on the evaluation, your son may end up school-wise, level-wise, and would love to work with you. So, again, thanks for the support, guys. Stay tuned for the next video.